Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. It's our reading through the Tanak night. It's the June 11th, 2025. We'll be reading out of the book of Exodus, chapter 16 through 20. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening. Check out our videos. We have over 1,000 or so videos that you can look at, examine the content, and get the meat out. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It'd be greatly appreciated. Okay. This is a non-Messianic channel. For those that don't know, we deal with the Tanak of the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses. It consists of our laws, our statutes, judgments, and our culture, way of life. Okay. This channel was created to aid and assist all Hebrews who are waking up in these last days to their true identity. Shalom and welcome to the channel, and welcome to our reading through the Tanakh. Okay, we can do a moment, which is a moment of silence, prayer, psalms, as current events. We're opening up with some need to know information, Q&A, with dialogue, and then we'll go into our scripture reading, which is reading out of the book of Exodus, chapter 16 through 20. We're going to read those chapter by chapter and break it down, okay? Then we'll pick a scripture and close out, okay? This moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our proper okay. Oh Lord, we thank you for your great mercy and your great power and your wisdom. And we tarry waiting for your powerful deliverance of your people Israel. Oh Lord, you have given us insight into the scriptures of your forefathers. And your Lord has directed us to who you are and your role in goings on with heaven and earth. Oh Lord, you spoke through your prophet Isaiah, and you said that you would help Abraham's seed that you had scattered. You have completed that promise as of this day, oh Lord, and you have removed darkness from around us. Charity out, oh Lord, for the latter days are here. We are waiting and watching for you. Peace be unto you. Okay? So with that being said, I'm going to read a song. Okay, I'll read Psalms 8. It's God's glory and man's honor. It's a Psalm of David. O Lord, our Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth, who has set thy glory above the heavens. Out of the mouth of babes, the sucklings hast thou ordained strength, because of thy enemies, that thou mightiest still the enemy and the avenger. When I consider thy heavens, the work of thy fingers, the moon and stars, which thou hast ordained, what is man that thou art mindful of him, and the son of man that thou visitest him? For thou hast made him a little lower than the angels, and hast crowned him glory and honor. Thou made him to have dominion over the works of thy hand. Thou hast put all things under his feet, all sheep and oxen, yea, and the beasts of the field, the fowls of the air, and the fish of the sea, and whatsoever passeth through the path of the seas. O Lord, how excellent is thy name in all the earth. So the thing I want to shine a light on is this verse right here. Verses 6 and 7, it says, Thou made him to have dominion over the works of thy hand, and thou hast put all things under his feet. And then verse 7, it says, over the sheep and the oxen, yea, and over the beasts of the field. So I had broke this down before when you go to Genesis chapter 2, and he said that he saw that the man was alone and to help me. He didn't make the woman. Then he made he formed some animals, and that's the the sheep and the oxen, the ones that's used in the altar. But not only that, he says in the same verse, he made him have dominion over the sheep and the oxen, yea, and the beasts of the field. So that's the wild animals also. He gave man dominion over both the domestic animals and the wild animals. Okay. Anybody have any questions, comments on that? Okay. It's got a lot going on. Okay. So play this first video, then we'll talk about it.
Immigrants. And the Donald Trump administration responded with very heavy repression. Trump ordered the military to be sent to Los Angeles. He sent 700 Marines and 2,000 members of the National Guard. This has caused a political crisis in the US because California's local government is accusing Trump and the federal government of violating the Constitution. The governor of California filed a lawsuit and a request to block Trump and the US Department of Defense, accusing them of illegal militarization of Los Angeles and condemning their takeover of a California National Guard unit, which the governor of California says is illegal. The response of the Trump administration has been extremely aggressive. Police and military officers have been shooting protesters and even journalists.
If you think it might rain later, then all you need is this.
There was a diplomatic scandal after a militarized LA police officer shot an Australian journalist while she was transmitting live on TV. And this led Australia's Prime Minister, Albanese, to criticize the US government for violently repressing not only protesters, but journalists reporting on these protests. Many other journalists in LA also reported being shot at by the authorities. This was not just an isolated incident. This is an intentional tactic being used by US authorities. What this demonstrates is how the very aggressive policies pursued by the US empire around the world in the wars that it's constantly waging in countries like Iraq and Afghanistan and Yemen, Syria, Libya, and beyond, those aggressive policies eventually come home. Those repressive tactics are used against people in the United States. And you can see this very clearly in the militarization of US police forces. It's common for US police departments to have armored vehicles and heavy military equipment. And this military-grade technology comes from the Pentagon. In fact, what's very striking is you can make a chart that looks at the number of US soldiers who were occupying Iraq illegally in a war of aggression. And when the majority of those soldiers came home, there was a massive increase in the military equipment that the Pentagon gave to US police departments. So the soldiers came back to the US and militarized the country. And of course, the military-industrial complex has profited as US police forces have been militarized. And it's also private prison companies that have massively profited from these repressive US government policies. In fact, immediately after Trump won the presidential election in November 2024, the stock of major for-profit prison companies in the US skyrocketed. A good example of this is Geo Group. In September 2024, Geo Group stock was around $12 US. And by January 2025, the week of Trump's inauguration, its stock was $33, more than doubling, because these private prison companies knew that they would profit from the very repressive policies of Trump. Now, Trump is using very extreme rhetoric, and it sounds like he's waging a war against his own country. Trump referred to the protesters in Los Angeles as a national security risk. Moreover, Trump scapegoats immigrants, and he falsely claims that they're taking away resources from the US government. But in reality, immigrants pay a lot of taxes, more than billionaires and the richest 1% of Americans whose taxes Trump is continuing to cut. In fact, even undocumented immigrants in the US who do not receive benefits from the government and Social Security and healthcare, even undocumented immigrants pay nearly $100 billion in taxes every single year. Investors. Don't forget that back in 2019 and 2020, there were large violent riots in Hong Kong that were strongly supported by the US government. And these violent rioters in Hong Kong were waving US flags. And they had banners that said, President Trump, let's make Hong Kong great again. They called on Trump to militarily intervene in Hong Kong, in China, in order to, quote, liberate Hong Kong. And the US government strongly supported these violent riots in Hong Kong. And yet now Trump is violently repressing protests in the United States and sending the military and the National Guard to California in violation of the will of the local elected government in California.
Okay, anybody got any comments on that?
Shalom, everyone. Yes, and when not the well, the guy who's speaking, when he said that the policeman shot the young lady, the journalist, they were using rubber bullets. I saw the video on that. They were using rubber bullets on those people, and they also had those gas canisters that they dispensed out and made sparks and stuff like that. Yes, he's not. To me, he's not giving the whole thing, and the thing that Donald Trump is doing. Those Marines were put in a place to stay with no beds, no cover, no nothing. They just went into this room that's not even big enough for the whole battalion to get in, and they had to sleep on the floor. So he's really like doing a double standard. He's talking about how the Marines going to do, but yet though he's treating them bad also by not accommodating them with the things they need. And yes, it is against, because my son said, again, who's in the service, that that is not right, that he shouldn't have been able to do what he's doing right now.
Okay, anybody else? Okay.
Secret police invokes a kind of haunting specter when you hear it. When we see representations of secret police in the movies or in history, we immediately identify it with a certain kind of regime, one that tramples people's liberty with no accountability. We associate it with authoritarian governments and dictatorships like the Soviet Union, where people, usually armed, can wield the authority of the state but are themselves totally unaccountable in the same way. Whatever issues there are with American policing, and there are many, many of which we've covered here, at least our police officers have names on their uniforms and badge numbers. Now, in the Trump-Stephen Miller era of immigration and renditioning, one cannot help but notice in clip after clip, in interaction after interaction, the people enacting these raids have all the qualities you associate with the concept of secret police. They are usually masked, hiding their faces, and either wearing plain clothes or irregular uniforms. They won't give their names.
Yeah, so what's starting to come out is, you're gonna see it in the videos that I'm gonna play. It's in this one too, that they're starting to find out these people they're not even policemen. They are a lot of the people that he pardoned, and then they are like the militia, like in King Apple Plains. They're not actual policemen. Okay, so keep an eye out for that. Okay, we got need to know information. It's kind of like I like 2 videos and play on this need to know information. Okay.
Thousands are taking to the streets across the country to protest immigration and customs enforcement. The epicenter is Los Angeles. City officials say the vast majority of demonstrators there are following the law.
When these peaceful rallies end and the protesters head home, another element moves in.
Officials say more than 20 LA businesses have been looted, and a small part of the city had a curfew last night.
I would appeal to the president to stop the ICE raids so that we can have stability in our city.
National Guard members are in LA against the governor's wishes. The U.S. official says hundreds of Marines the president mobilized have been briefed on rules for use of force on American soil.
We do not want our streets militarized by our own armed forces, not in LA, not in California, not anywhere.
Other demonstrations have been in Washington, Boston, Atlanta, Denver, Milwaukee, San Francisco, New York, Chicago, and more. This video shows a car cutting through a crowd of protesters in the Windy City. The White House says undocumented immigrants broke the law by entering the U.S. illegally. Demonstrators say ICE shouldn't go after those who are otherwise law-abiding.
They've taken 4 or 5 students from where I work. These are all of our children, and we need to take care of them and protect them and their families.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
In Los Angeles.
I believe one of the most.
Okay. Okay. Any comments on that? So here go this man bucket right here. We should know he was coming sooner or later. Play this.
Deployments. Can you tell us how many soldiers are being deployed? And
Greg Abbott, out of Texas.
They're just purely on the sidelines until they're
Didn't deployed.
First of all, we want to make
Military.
sure that what has happened in California does not happen in Texas. Texas is a law and order state, and we will use every tool that we can to ensure order across our state. That includes the deployment of Texas Department of Public Safety officers, as well as Texas National Guard, in strategic locations where they can provide the most robust response where needed. As it concerns the exact tactics and things like that, we don't disclose those publicly. You will see them arise in response to what we see on the ground.
But not the numbers. You don't have the number of people being deployed.
I do, but I'm not going to tell you. Nothing personal. It's just that there are others outside of this room who would like to know that I'm not going to tell them.
For questions. Can you define what is like crossing the line for those who they don't know, like what is the crossing line for this?
That leads to FAFO. Violating the law. You break the law, you cross the line, you will be arrested. I was a little bit clear about this last night in my post last night, and that is there is freedom of speech. However, if in your protest you damage somebody's property or you harm an individual, that's violating the law, and you will be arrested for it.
Last question. Don't this brings back to the topic today because this is a really important topic.
Sure.
Tell us this: there are many people that may think about this drug as in the category of.
So that was Greg Abbott. Like I said, you should know he was going to come in the scene sooner or later.
America is no longer a serious.
Okay. Any comments or questions? Okay, we'll open it up for some questions, comments, and dialogue about anything you came across. You see on YouTube or in your research. Anybody got anything they want to talk about? Okay, like I said, they got, from the way it's playing out, I think it's they're using militia and some of these people that Trump pardoned.
Somebody pulled a gun on a group of people. I was like, you're not trained. These are the January 6 people who are pardoned. We are under siege right now in a way that only maybe people who survived Nazi Germany could understand. Like these are those times.
We're ready. We're prepared. Do not give in to fear. We are fearless. This is not the time to be afraid. This is the time to stand up and fight back and to resist any temptation for them to divide us. We're in this together. The rule of law is on our side. We will not give in, not give up. We will not capitulate. We will not bow. We will not bend. We will survive.
Would be remiss if I did not start off talking about the disaster that is happening in Los Angeles, California, in these United States right now, as I was watching over the weekend and corresponding with friends of mine who are real journalists, and, you know, like Ali Velshi, who was standing, you know, on MSNBC this weekend, reporting on what's happening. And I'm concerned about, I've been concerned about the state of our union, but I think we're at a breaking point that is a point of no return.
where we have a sitting president who sent the National Guard in to control a situation that the governor and the mayor of Los Angeles said, we don't need the National Guard.
They said
People protest. It's America. People protest. That's one of the rights. I mean, this country was founded on the Tea Party, you know, the Boston Tea Party and protestation. You know, they were protesting, you know, taxation without representation. And they were in the streets, and Crispus Attucks was the first to die. You know, we learned these history lessons in school, and yet we're seeing them play out quite differently in real life, real time. Have you been paying attention to?
Oh, I have. Oh, I have. I've been talking to friends in LA, you know, because it's funny watching, you know, like firsthand media that you're seeing from people who are there, and then versus, you know, how, you know, CNN or, you know, whoever will cover things. And I was noticing quite a disparity at first. And then, you know, it's interesting to see this play out. I think, like you said, we're reaching a breaking point. I think people are sick of it. People are scared for their neighbors. People are scared for themselves. I feel hopeful always. You know, I feel hopeful always. I'm worried always. I'm hopeful and worried
At the same time. Yeah, two things can be true. Ali said something to me to the effect that this is where it all comes apart. And I was like, it's been apart. You know, maybe this is where we realize, and we're going to talk more in the show about the importance of voting. I voted this weekend, early voting in New Jersey, ended yesterday. On my way to walk at the park, I was like, let me go vote. So I did that. There was no line. And that both concerned me. There was a whole lot of Black people. So I was like, okay, hey, Black people, what's up? What's up? When I also live among Black people, so I expect to see Black people where I vote. But, you know, it's an interesting place where, you know, we yell into the void about all of the things we'd like to see happen. But the way in which this happens is not in the street. So this morning on Urban View Morning, Malcolm Nance was with Shauna Renee, and he said he was disappointed in Black people not protesting. And I have a problem with what he said. I know he's a decorated military personnel, you know, person. He's written anti-terrorist, you know, counterterrorism expert, blah, blah, blah. These aren't the times for institutional knowledge per se from the way things used to be done. These are waters we haven't been in. And I wasn't around in 1700 either, but I imagine the quote unquote framers had a very specific vision in mind, and this wasn't it either. They were leaving tyranny. They didn't want more tyranny. 866-801-8255. I'll give out the number because I disagree. Black people should not be in the streets in mass protesting. And you know why? Because of what we're seeing going on right now in LA. This is what he wants. He wants martial law. He wants to send in the troops. He's talking about sending in the Marines because people, when you press them, as Gavin Newsom was like, we got it under control, now you're gonna make it worse. So now they're throwing scooters. We don't condone, I have to say, we don't condone violence on any front. However, what is happening is a response to something that should not be happening. National Guard people should not be sent in. American troops should not be sent in to police Americans who have a right to protest peacefully. Then he's going to do an executive order banning masks publicly. So I'm thinking, what about people with, but I'm seeing all of these ICE agents with masks on. We don't know whether they're real federal agents or not.
Here you go.
And they're not identifying themselves.
Yeah.
Listen, the amount of fat asses that I've seen out there, there's no way in hell that these are trained professionals. Somebody pulled a gun on a group of people. I was like, you're not trained. These are the January 6 people who are parting. We are under siege right now in a way that only maybe people who survived Nazi Germany could understand. Like these are those times.
Yeah, and I always hesitate to, you know, when people are, whether they're talking about Black folks, especially Black folks, but, you know, like Black folks should be out in the streets, you know, doing this. It's like, well, I'm always hesitant to take that line around anything because people are justifiably very, very scared. You know, over the last 10, 15 years, we've seen the way sentencing, they pushed for harsher sentencing. People are getting sent to prison, you know, for life or, you know, the smallest things. And, you know, they've made it so that protesting, you can risk your freedom for the rest of your life. You are risking terrorism charges for being present, for merely standing there. So in a country that sends Black folks to jail for blinking, You know, I am hesitant always to be like, I mean, certainly as a white person, I'm not going to be sitting anywhere saying what Black people should or shouldn't be doing. But anybody who's talking about what, you know, people should be in the streets, why aren't people in the streets? I've seen friends who live internationally. I've got a friend in Ireland who is like, why aren't you guys, you know, doing this, this, and this? Why aren't you? And it's like, I see why it's different here than you think. You know, like
it also tells me that they can't protest without us. It's very clear to me that the organized way in which people were in the streets was centered on Black organization and Black understanding of liberation and Black people mobilizing and Black people having a plan and Black people. So without Black people, y'all looking for bouncy houses and you don't even know how to put your signs together. You know, y'all disorganized. I was like, what disorganized mess is this? Oh, once again, the gaslighting. You made it out to be that Black people we're so horrible. We don't stick together. Bitch, sorry.
But then it's like, well, where are they? Somebody tell us what to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Part one, number one, y'all can't organize without us. Okay, so we're sitting home. Why? Because 92% of Black women voted against this. Almost 80% of Black men voted against this. The ones that set out, shame on you, shame on you, shame on you, shame on you. You're equally responsible. But Black people showed up in November. So this is not on us. So to put us at the front of the cannon fodder, to be at the front lines of the terror attack on our bodies, no. We sacrificed enough over the last 400 years. Your turn, and it's more of you. So pile it in, go, get to the streets. This is hard.
Which I am seeing a lot of white people in these streets throwing tear gas and messing up these cop cars. I am seeing it. You know, there was a white man that he was being filmed in LA. Or actually, I'm sorry, it wasn't LA. I want to say it was Pittsburgh. It was a separate ICE protest, but there was people packing the street, and he was there, and he was furious because ICE had just taken away the people they had come to take, despite civilians showing up and trying to stop them. And he was, you know, shouting at the crowd, and the person filming said, how did you hear about this? Because they're trying to figure out, like, where are these people coming from? Where is this, you know, mobilization coming from? And he just looked at the camera and he said, Reddit. Like Reddit, you know, like, there's a lot of, apparently a couple white men that I know here in Louisville, he's like, I was getting a tattoo yesterday, and a guy that I was talking to when I left the tattoo shop, he was like, yeah, I look on Reddit every day to see updates in Louisville, to see where ICE is. If ICE is showing up, people post in Reddit, they say, hey, ICE is showing up on Millwood or whatever, and people go. So it's like, I'm seeing a lot of white men on Reddit popping up.
All right,
you know,
shout out to them.
Again, just anecdotal. So,
what?
Okay. Any comments on that? What you think? Okay.
Shalom, brother Leonard. I wanted to say, I used to live in Louisville, in that area that they just mentioned, in Millwood. I do know a lot of Latino people live in the area. But also I was in Charlotte a while ago for work, and I actually seen the ICE and the ATF and I can't remember the other ABCs, but I actually seen them in action too a few weeks ago, going to do some of these things the videos are talking about, snatching people and things like that.
Okay. What that look like?
A bunch of raids, you know, a bunch of cars, a bunch of bulletproof vests, a bunch of sunglasses.
Okay, like rednecks.
Right. Well, right. Yes, sir. And one thing I did notice, they didn't have badges though. Like everybody got those vests with their letters on them, but I didn't necessarily see nobody with badges. But everybody had guns, and there were some people with their face covered as well.
Right. Yeah, that's starting to stick out to me. I was looking at it, but I didn't really say nothing until I started hearing it. And yeah, that make all the sense in the world. It's like the other day, the video I was playing, they had people with Ghana flags So I mean, that don't make sense. If it's not no black folks out there, why would somebody be waving the gun flag? So it's got to be some kind of paid protesters or whatever that they're using, trying to incite us. Okay?
Shalom. Is those the same people that have been jumping out of the U-Haul vans that they were renting those trucks? Or those the kind of people that you're
If they
talking
not
about?
there, they're gonna show up. Before it's over with, when it really get bad, those people are, from my understanding, they working for the government. They are used to intensify the riot. They got on mass. Yeah, they like it says in the King Apple plan, he's gonna call up the militia. The militia already been called up. The militia was called up in January 6th. Okay. Anybody else? Yeah, I want to shine a light on this for a minute. It's about Africa in the Bible, some prophecies. This guy from Hebrew Negroes. I'm gonna play a little bit of it because some of the things he was saying made a little sense. So I'm gonna play a little bit of that. You want to watch the whole video? It's Africa in the Bible, prophecies, the truth about Russia and China, right?
They're going to come and they're going to take land, they're going to take livestock, and they're going to take the things that are in the land that the Bantu people have acquired when they came down to sub-Saharan Africa. What is that? Raw materials, natural gas, oil, minerals, food, things that the other nations desire in Africa are the minerals, the natural gas, the oil, the food security, the trading with people in Africa so that we can be consumers and cheap.
So listening to this is what I was saying about you got two different programs going on. They with the New Testament and what they concocted in the New Testament, they trying to make that happen. But at the same time, people being bamboozled by that, but actually the scripture that the Lord of hosts spoke and the prophet spoke is actually playing out. One of the examples was that it says Gog and Magog was coming to wherever the Israelites is at. Well, like he said, China and Russia and China is not in Gog and Magog is on the scene, but they were the real Israelites at. And so that's what I mean by what the Creator said and spoke is playing out. But the population of most people who are brainwashed, they dealing with what these Edomites got going on.
Labor workers for their businesses. And so when you look at all these things, it says in Ezekiel 38:13, it says, "Have thou gathered thy company to take a prey, to carry away silver and gold, to take away cattle and the possessions of the Israelites?" In the Hebrew, it's kinyan. Possessions means wealth, land. So when these other nations come to Africa, they're taking the possessions of what the Bantu people naturally have inherited. The wealth and raw materials in the land, the trees, the timber, the agriculture, everything, they're taking it for their wealth and their prosperity and food security. And it even says that the Eden are all holy sites to God and to the Israelites. Now, the interesting thing is that in the book of Jubilees, it says in chapter 8, verse 17 to 19, that the three sacred holy sites is the Garden of Eden, Mount Sinai, where God communicated with Moses on the top, and Mount Zion. It says that these three places, are depicted as forming the navel of the earth, or the center facing one another. Now, the navel is also used in the Bible as like the center, or tabik in the Hebrew. And when you look at the Congo, the word Katiopa Katiopa in the Kikongo language means the center, the navel. And the word that they use to describe the Congo also is Zeta Dianza. Zeta Dianza means the center of the world, of the earth. And this is exactly how we look at Jerusalem and Mount Zion. Now, the interesting thing about Mount Zion being in the territory of Jerusalem, and Jerusalem is in the center of the earth, we see that in Central Africa that you have you have high mountains, and there's one particular mountain that is a mountain that's not formed by volcanic eruptions and ash buildup. It is a block mountain called the Manzori Mountains, or the Mountains of the Moon, or the Rainmaker. And the Manzori Mountains, the foot of the Manzori Mountains is at the Uganda-Congo border. Now, why am I saying all this? Because the land of Canaan, let's get back to that, is the land of the Israelites. And if it is in sub-Saharan Africa, or the land of Yam, or the land of the south, then in the Bible, we should see directions of how the Israelites traveled south along their Exodus route to the land of Canaan. Well, in Numbers chapter 20, the Israelites are traveling through the wilderness, and they run into Edom or Esau. And they ask Edom or Esau, can we travel by your way to get to the land of Canaan? And Edom says, no, you cannot. And so they have to go around the land of Edom. In Numbers chapter 21, it says, the next chapter, it says, and this is after the Israelites have passed going around Edom, it says, and when the king of Arad, the Canaanite, which dwelt in the south, heard tell that Israel came by the way of the spies, then he fought against Israel and took some of them prisoners. And it says in verse 4 that, and they, meaning the Israelites, journeyed from Mount Hor by the way of the Nile River, the Reed Sea, or the River of Reeds. It says that in the Hebrew that the Israelites journeyed and took the path of the Nile River. In the English, it says Red Sea, but in the Hebrew, it's Yam Suf. Yam Suf is not the Red Sea. The Red Sea is derived from a Greek Latin word, erythema or erytheus, like when you have a rash, it's erythematous. The Erythraean Sea or ocean was not a thing until the 1st century AD, 2,000 years ago. So at the time of Esau and Jacob and the Israelites, there was no such thing called the Red Sea, because it's a Latin Greek word. Erythema, erytheus, ocean or sea, aka the Red Sea. But in the Bible sense, it is the Nile River. So it says in Numbers chapter 21 that the Israelites journeyed by the pathway of the Nile River to go around the land of Edom. So when we look at this, we have to ask ourselves, well, where is the land of Edom according to the Bible and Google today? The land of Edom, when you look at the map on Google, it is in modern day Israel, like in the south, but it is nowhere near today's Red Sea, and is nowhere near the Nile River. So how can the land of Edom on Google today be near the Nile River? Well, the land of Edom on Google in the territory, if you look at on images, it is not even nowhere near the Gulf of Aqaba. And the Gulf of Aqaba is not the Red Sea. It's not the Erythraean Sea. So what land of Edom really are they talking about? So here's the thing. Now here we're going to get to Ezekiel 38.
Back to Ezekiel 38. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Bible tells us that in Daniel chapter 2, that the Greeks and the Romans, their empires fell. And a new race of people came and conquered Europe, Eastern Europe, Western Europe. Germanic people, Turkic people, like your Arabs today, your white Arabs today, and your Jews today. and the Germanic people dwell in Western Eastern Europe and the Isles. Mega. Now we look at the timeline that we're in today. Back in the old days, after Europe was conquered, and you had the Eastern Roman Empire, Western Roman Empire, and you had the evolution of the European countries, the EU 27, you see that slavery started. Slavery and colonization of Africa. And who came to Africa? The Europeans did. The Germans, the French, the British, the Dutch, the Spanish, the Portuguese. These nations came along with the United States. They also participated in slavery in America. And the Black Arabs came and enslaved the Bantu people in East Africa. Okay, so we have these Europeans that are wreaking damage in Africa, enslaving Bantu people, Israelites, and then colonizing the land, dividing the land, parting people up. So now we see in this day and time, not just the Europeans are.
So this is my point right here. Was this God and Magog, and they're not over in the land of Israel,
putting their footstool and colonizing, spoiling, preying upon the people in the land and looting the land. It's newcomers. Who are the newcomers now? The Chinese, the Indians, the Russians.
Is that all in the Bible? Do you find that in the Bible?
And here's the thing: we have to use matter of exclusion.
Okay.
Because when we look at Africa's biggest trade partner today, is China. Second is India. Now, we can say the European Union countries collectively is the largest trade partner for Africa, but when you're looking at countries alone, China's #1, India's #2, and then you have what you want to call the United States, France, Germany, and then Russia is at the 15th mark.
Okay.
And we know that these nations, Russia, China, the Arabs, the Jews, but specifically Russia and China, they're not speaking a Germanic language. They're not speaking Hebrew language. They're not speaking a Latin or Italian language. They're not speaking a Hamitic African language. They're not speaking a Shemitic language like Arabic or Hebrew. They're speaking a Japhetic language, but they're not Greeks and Romans. So that means that they have to be descendants of Gomer, Magog, Meshach, and Tubal. But what about the Persians? The Persians are in Ezekiel 38:5. Well, the word Persia comes from the word Ariana. And Ariana or Aryan is what the northern Indians classified themselves back in ancient times. Look at the ancient Hindu Vedic text and the Avesta of the religion of the Zoroastrianism, Old Persian religion. You'll see that the word Arya or Ariana or Aryan derives from the Persian word for a people that were the originators of the Old Persian religion and its text, the Avesta, and later we have the Hindu Vedic text, which is like the downstream. So the people in Iran today, they are descendants of Turks from Central Asia, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan. They are not the descendants of the real Persians. If you go to the palace of Susa in Iran, you will see that the Persians were people with melanin. They were melanated people. The Iranians today are not melanated, but people in India are. And the languages of the people in North India, like Gujarati, Sindh, Punjabi, and Pakistani languages, they are all connected to the old Persian languages. And I put this in the movie. So here we go through the descendants of Russia, Meshach and Tubal, the European Union, 27 countries, including the United States of America, Magog. We have Gomer, who the Chinese and the Koreans say that they are descendants of Gomer. The Chinese in their ancient literature, before they were practicing Buddhism and different things, they said in their oral history they are descendants of Japheth, son Gomer. Even the Koreans say that they are descendants of Japheth, son Gomer. Gomer, China. China is now where in Israel? Looting and plundering and preying upon the people and what they have on the land? No, they're in sub-Saharan Africa.
Right.
when you look at the word spoil,
hold on. So I'm guessing you're saying they're in sub-Saharan Africa looting, as you put it.
Mm-hmm.
Is this referenced from the Bible?
Yeah.
From the Bible, from their genealogy and ethnic lineage.
Right. So what he's saying is it's playing out, but it ain't playing out in the so-called fake Israel. He said it's actually playing out where the real Israelites are at. Okay. Any comments on that?
Shalom, Brother Leonard. I think it is. He's right about that. I'm just when he's relating who Russia is, because that is what they're doing, setting up the Sahel states. With all those new contracts he got, they're gonna take the spoil, and they got control of really the resources with these new contracts they got.
Right. It's prophecy actually unfolding, but because of people caught up in the New Testament and caught up with that fake land of Israel, they not focused in the right place. But like I said, prophecy we so close, but they don't see that because they waiting on the Antichrist and all this bull crap when all that already played out. Okay. So actually, we're at the point where Ezekiel 38 says 37, he's going to raise an army up. Well, if Gog and Magog is already here, then we right around the corner from this army. That's how close we are. Yeah. So anyway, with that being said, we're going to read out of Exodus chapter 16 through 20, right? For our scripture reading. I'm gonna read. We'll get some. You want to read chapter 16, Anidra?
Yes, sir. Shalom.
Okay.
Just a second. Okay. Exodus chapter 16. And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came into the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after their departing out of the land of Egypt. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. This is the scripture you was looking for the other day, Brother Leonard. And the children about the quail. And the children of Israel said unto them, Woe to God, we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full. For we have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. Then said the Lord unto Moses, Behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no. And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. And Moses and Aaron said unto all the children of Israel, At even, then you shall know that the Lord hath brought you out from the land of Egypt. And in the morning, then you shall see the glory of the Lord, for that he heareth your murmurings against the Lord. And what are we that you murmur against us? And Moses said, This shall be when the Lord shall give you in the evening flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to the full. For that the Lord heareth your murmurings, which you murmur against him. And what are we? Your murmurings are not against us, but against the Lord. And Moses spake unto Aaron, saying to all the congregation of the children of Israel, Come near before the Lord, for he hath heard your murmurings. And it came to pass, as Aaron spake unto the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Lord appeared in the cloud. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak unto them, saying, At even you shall eat flesh, and in the morning you shall be filled with bread, and ye shall know that I am the Lord your God. And it came to pass that at even the quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning the dew lay round about the host. And when the dew that lay was gone up, behold, upon the face of the wilderness, there lay a small round thing, as small as the hoarfrost on the ground. And when the children of Israel saw it, they said to one another, it is manna, for they wist not what it was. And Moses said unto them, this is the bread which the Lord hath given you to eat. This is the thing which the Lord hath commanded. Gather of it every man according to his eating, an omer for every man, according to the number of your persons. Take ye every man for them which are in his tents. And the children of Israel did so, and gathered some more, some less. And when they did meet it with an omer, he that gathereth much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. They gathered every man according to his eating. And Moses said, let no man leave of it till the morning. Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto Moses, but some of them left of it until the morning, and it bred worms and stank, and Moses was wroth with them. And they gathered it every morning, every man according to his eating, and the sun waxed hot. And when the sun waxed hot, it melted. And it came to pass that on the 6th day they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for one man. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moses. And he said unto them, this is that which the Lord hath said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Bake that which ye will bake today, and seed what ye will seed. And that which remaineth over, lay up for you to be kept until the morning. And they laid it up till the morning, as Moses bade, and it did not stink, neither was there any worms therein. And Moses said, eat that today, for today is a Sabbath unto the Lord. Today ye shall not find it in the field. 6 days shall ye gather it, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, in it there shall be none. And it came to pass that there went out some of the people on the 7th day for to gather, and they found none. And the Lord said unto Moses, how long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws? See that the Lord hath given you the Sabbath. Therefore he hath given you on the 6th day the bread of 2 days. Abide ye every man in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day. And the house of Israel called the name thereof manna. And it was like coriander seed, white, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. And Moses said, this is the thing which the Lord commanded. Fill an omer of it to be kept for your generations, that ye may see the bread wherewith I have fed you in the wilderness, when I brought you forth from the land of Egypt. And Moses said unto Aaron, take a pot, and put an omer full of manna therein, and lay it up before the Lord, to be kept for your generations. And the Lord commanded Moses. So Aaron laid it up before the testimony to be kept. And the children of Israel did eat manna 40 years, and until they came to a land inhabited. They did eat manna until they came unto the borders of the land of Canaan. Now an omer is the 10th part of an ephah.
Okay. Yeah,
Shalom. That is chapter 16. It's a little further in about the quail, when they got mad about the quail, but that's what my what do you call it, caption said.
Okay. Anybody got any comments on that? We just went over that. Yeah, so you gonna read 17 and 18? AJ, I'll read 19 and 20.
Yes, sir. And it says in 17 verse 1 says, and all the congregation of the children of Israel journeyed from the wilderness of sin after their journeys according to the commandment of the Lord, and pitched in Rephidim, and there was no water for the people to drink. Wherefore the people did chide with Moses and said, give us water that we may drink. And Moses said unto them, why chide ye with me? Wherefore do ye tempt the Lord? And the people thirsted there for water. And the people murmured against Moses and said, wherefore is this that thou hast brought us up out of Egypt to kill us and our children and our cattle with thirst? And Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, what shall I do unto this people? they be almost ready to stone me. And the Lord said unto Moses, Go on before the people, and take with thee of the elders of Israel, and thy rod, wherewith thou smotest the river, take in thine hand and go. Behold, I will stand before thee there upon the rock in Horeb, and thou shalt smite the rock, and there shall come water out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel, and he called the name of the place Massa and Meribah, because of the chiding of the children of Israel, and because they tempted the Lord, saying, Is this the Lord among us or not? Then came Amalek and fought with Israel in Rephidim. And Moses said unto Joshua, Choose us out men and go out and fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand. So Joshua did as Moses had said to him and fought with Amalek. And Moses and Aaron and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass when Moses held up his hand that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands were heavy, and they took the stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon. And Aaron and Hur stayed up his hands, the one on one side and the other on the other side, and his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. And Joshua discomfited Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And the Lord said unto Moses, Write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. And Moses built an altar and called the name of it Jehovah Nisi, for he said, Because the Lord hath sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. That's chapter 17. Exodus. I do know Jehovah Nisi. I remember in church they used to say that was one of JC names.
Right. Right. Yeah, you know they got Jehovah Nisi, Jehovah. They got like 7 different names with Jehovah in front of it, right?
Right.
You know
yes,
that?
sir.
You know what that is,
Yes,
right?
sir. The Lord of Hosts.
That's the 7 angels.
Oh, okay. So all those 7 names, they try to make them one being.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
And remember what he said when they came out of Egypt. He said before he came to Egypt, they knew him as God Almighty. Then he said after that, they knew him as Jehovah, right? Jah.
Right.
Right. So yeah. 18, you gonna read 18?
Yes, sir. And it says, when Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard all of that God had done for Moses and for Israel, his people, and that the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back, and her 2 sons, of which the names of one was Gershom, and he said, I have been an alien in a strange land. And the name of the other was Eleazar. For the God of my father said he was mine help and delivered me from the sword of Pharaoh. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife unto Moses into the wilderness, where he encamped at the mount of God. And he said unto Moses, I, thy father-in-law Jethro, am come unto thee, and thy wife and her 2 sons with her. And Moses went out to meet his father-in-law and did obeisance and kissed him. And they asked each other of their welfare, and they came into the tent. And Moses told his father-in-law all that the Lord had done unto Pharaoh and the Egyptians for Israel's sake, and all the travail that had come upon them by the way, and how the Lord delivered them. And Jethro rejoiced for all the goodness which the Lord had done to Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Egyptians. And Jethro said, Blessed be the Lord, who hath delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians, and out of the hand of Pharaoh, who hath delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods, for in the thing wherein they dealt proudly, he was above them. And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrifices for God. And Aaron came, and all the elders of Israel, to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God. Verse 13, and it came to pass on the morrow that Moses sat to judge the people, and the people stood by Moses from the morning unto the evening. And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he had did to the people, he said, What is this thing that thou doest to the people? Why sittest thou thyself alone, and all the people stand by thee from morning until evening? And Moses said unto his father-in-law, Because the people come unto me to inquire of God. When they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one another, and I do make them know the statutes of God and his laws. And Moses' father-in-law said unto him, The thing that thou doest is not good. Thou wilt surely wear away, both thou and this people that is with thee, for this thing is too heavy for thee. Thou art not able to perform it thyself alone. Hearken now unto my voice. I will give thee counsel, and God shall be with thee. Be thou for the people to Godward, that thou mayest bring the causes unto God. And thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws, and shalt show them the way wherein they must walk, in the work that they must do. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to be rulers of thousands and rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties and rulers of tens, and let them judge the people at all seasons. And it shall be that every great matter that shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. So it shall be easier for thyself, they shall bear the burden with thee. If thou shalt do this thing, and God command thee so, then thou shalt be able to endure. And all this people shall also go to their place in peace. So Moses hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law, and did all that he had said. And Moses chose able men out of all of Israel, and made them heads over the people, rulers of thousands, rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties, and rulers of tens. And they judged the people at all seasons, the hard causes they brought unto Moses, but every small matter they judged themselves. Moses let his father-in-law depart, and he went his way into his own land. Shalom. This is Exodus 18.
Yeah. Two things I want to shine on that is the first one is I was telling you about how Most High got a covenant with David. The king always got a David lineage. You got a covenant with Aaron, and Aaron always gonna have the high priest gonna be out his lineage. Well, you got daughters on both sides of that, and 9 times out of 10, that high priest either marrying a king's daughter or a king marrying one of the high priest's daughters. And we see it right here in 18:1. When Jethro, he a priest, he a high priest, and what you gotta understand from that, the knowledge he got from Abraham. Abraham was like Melchizedek. Yeah, he got all that knowledge from Shem and knowing them. So Jethro got it. That's why he was able to show him that. But anyway, he says, Jethro, the priest of Midian, see that? Moses' father-in-law. So that means Zipporah, a prophetess. So we say, what are you talking about? Same Isaiah, the so-called woman in Isaiah 7:14 says that a virgin, he's gonna get a virgin. They're trying to make you think it's JC, but that's Isaiah's wife. So Isaiah went to his wife. He got 3 witnesses. Went to his wife, the prophetess, and went into her. And he had the boy. The boy was a sign. It had nothing to do with Jesus. And then we saw Bathsheba. Bathsheba's father was the high priest, and his father was praying that she marry a king because of her beauty and the knowledge that she had received from him. So he was praying to the Lord daily to marry a king, and then eventually her and David hooked up. Okay, and then the other one is when Jethro told him how to set it up was set up the judges was by rulers of tens and rulers of thousands, rulers of 50. That's the same way it is in heaven. The angels, that's how the angels set up in heaven. If you go to Enoch, when they came down, there were 200, they was rulers over tens and rulers over hundreds and rulers over thousands. So it's the same setup. So like I said before, where do you think Jethro got that information from? He got it from Abraham. And Abraham got it from Noah and Shem. Okay. Everybody good on that? Okay. We'll read 19 and 20. In the 3rd month, when the children of Israel were gone forth out of the land of Egypt, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai, for they were departed from the Redden and were come to the desert of Sinai and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Israel camped before the mount. And Moses went up into God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bore you upon eagle's wings and brought you unto myself. Now, therefore, if you will obey my voice and indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all the people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. So, like I want to go back. So we talked about how when they was on Mount Sinai, Yahweh came down on the mountain, right? And then he told Moses, he was there 40 days and 40 nights. He said when he left the angel of the Lord there, Michael. He said, this is going to be this is who you're going to be listening to. This is God. This is over you. Obey his voice, right? So when you read right here, it says, Moses went up unto God, right? Then, and the Lord called on him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob. Now watch this. And tell the children of Israel, ye have seen what this the Lord talking, like God. See, Moses went up to God, and the Lord called on him out of the mountain, right? Saying, Thus shalt thou say unto the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, this is the Lord of hosts, and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you unto myself. So we say, what are you talking about? Right? Remember what Moses was on the mountain and he saw the angel of the Lord. Yahweh wasn't up there. He says Moses went on the backside of the desert and went to the mountain of God. When he got up there, was an angel up there. Yahweh wasn't up there. So he said he sent Moses to Egypt, and Moses came back and brought them here. See that? Before the mountain. In verse 2. He brought them back to where this angel had. See that? Then he says 4. Ye seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you unto myself. See that? Brought you back to the mountain where I was at, where I met you at. He got Moses and they brought him back to where he was at. 5. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice, indeed, Keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all the people, for all the earth is mine. And ye shall be, notice what he said, all the earth is mine. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. And Moses came and called for the elders of the people, and he laid before their faces all these words which the Lord commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that the Lord hath spoken we will do. And Moses returned the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, lo, I come unto thee in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak unto thee, and believe thee forever. And Moses told the words of the people unto the Lord. And the Lord said unto Moses, go unto the people, sanctify them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their clothes, and be ready against the third day. For the third day the Lord will come down in thy sight of all the people upon Mount Sinai, and thou shalt set bounds unto the people round about, saying, take heed to yourselves that ye go not into the mount, or touch the borders of it. Whosoever toucheth the mount shall surely be put to death. There shall not a hand touch it, but he shall surely be stoned or shot through, whether it be beast or man, he shall not live. When the trumpet sounded long, it shall come up to the mount. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people, sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there was thunder and lightning and a thick cloud upon the mount, and the voice of the trumpets exceedingly loud, so that all the people that were in the camp trembled. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with God, and they stood at the middle part of the mount, and the Mount Sinai was all together on smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire, and smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace, and the whole mount quaked great. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long, waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, and God answered him by a voice. And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on top of the mount, and the Lord called Moses up to the top of the mount, and Moses went up, and the Lord said unto Moses, go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Lord gaze, and many of them perish. And let the priests also, which come near to the Lord, sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break forth upon them. And Moses said unto the Lord, the people cannot come up to the Mount Sinai, for thou chargest us, saying, set bounds about the mount and sanctify it. And the Lord said unto him, away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, and thou, Aaron, with thee, but not the priest and the people. Or says, and let not the people and the priests and the people break through to come up unto the Lord, lest he break forth upon them. So Moses went down unto the people, and he spoke unto them. So, like I said before, you can see that what I think it was AJ read it where he sent Moses. He says, "Go on down to the rock, and then I'll be there. When you get there, I'll be on top of the rock." And so, and that's why the reason Moses wasn't able to go into the promised land, because he got angry and struck the rock, and people thought he done it. And the whole time, the Lord was standing on top of the rock. Moses can see him, but the people couldn't see him. So my point is this, right here. When Moses went up on Mount Horeb, and the angel of the Lord was there, and they ain't set no bounds. He didn't reach out and burn Moses up. So this ain't Michael right here, 19. And when the voice of the Lord, the trumpet sounded long, Exodus 19 and 19. And when the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder, Moses spake, And God answered him by a voice. And the Lord, see that? God and the Lord are two different beings. They want you to think it's the same person. But anyway, and the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mount. And the Lord called Moses up to the top of the mount. And Moses went up. Here you go. And the Lord said unto Moses, go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Lord the gates, and many of them perish. And then he says, and let the priests also. So he's telling them about his God. Don't what's gonna happen if you don't do what I'm telling you. He says, let the priests also which come near to the Lord sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break forth upon them. See that? So, like I said before, he didn't break forth on Moses. When Moses met him on Mount Sinai, because this ain't the same being. He didn't break forth on Moses. Okay? Let that friend make. Okay? Chapter 20. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which I have brought thee up out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other God with or before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for the Lord thy God, I'm a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold them guiltless that taketh his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day, keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor, do all thy work. But on the seventh day, it is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy sons, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within our gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that in it that in them is, and rested on the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath and hallowed it. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, and thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, and thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, or anything that is thy neighbor's. And all the people saw the thundering and the lightning, and the noise of the trumpets, and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they removed and stood afar off. And they said unto Moses, speak thou with us, and we will hear. But let not God speak with us, lest we die. And Moses said unto the people, fear not, for God is come to prove you, and that his fear may be before your faces, that ye sin not. And the people stood afar off, and Moses drew near unto the thick darkness where God was. And the Lord said unto Moses, thus thou shalt say unto the children of Israel, ye have seen that I have talked with you from heaven. Ye shall not make with me gods of silver, neither shall ye make unto you gods of gold. The altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, and shall sacrifice thereon thy burnt offerings and thy peace offerings, thy sheep and thine oxen, in all the places where I will call my name, and I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. And if thou wilt make me an altar of stone, thou shalt not build it of huge stone, or if thou lift up thy tool upon it, thou hast polluted it. Neither shalt thou go up thy steps unto mine altar, that thy nakedness may be discovered thereupon. So that was Exodus chapter 16 through 20. Anybody have any comments or questions on that? Anything they heard or that was read? Okay. Everybody good?
Yes.
So I'm gonna say shalom, shalom, and another shalom. I'll see everybody tomorrow night for our women's line. Men can come in through YouTube. So with that being said, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
I highly recommend that you get this book and you read it because it's a must that you understand who God head is in the order that's in the Old Testament in Tanak, because it's not the same as in the New Testament. And when you read this and you get an understanding, then the scriptures open up and then you begin to understand. So I highly recommend that you get this book. It's the Elohim of Israel, and it's a breakdown on the word Elohim and who the God of Israel is and the Godhead.